In this video, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to create diagonal split screens, a few different ways to animate them, and how to add borders. Let's go. All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is a very super simple way to make a diagonal split screen using a mask. So if we see this one, this is a kind of split left and right diagonal one, and then this one is split top and bottom at an angle as well. Okay, so the only thing you're going to need is 2 clips, obviously, one stacked on top of the other. So I have this ladybug clip here, and if I hide that, I have this other ladybug clip underneath. So all you have to do is go to the top one, go over to opacity, click this rectangle here, create 4-point polygon mask. You're going to see the rectangle show up like that. Probably drop this down to be smaller so you can see all the way around, and then just drag out your corners like this. So I'm going to drag this one here, this one here, this one there, and then this is where you determine your angle right here. So I'm going to go kind of here. I'm not going to make them even like you can if you can, drag them over. I'm going to make this segment over here just a little bit smaller in this case, so something like that. And then just make sure you go over here to mask feather and drop this down to 0. So click, slide to the left, drop it down to 0 so it's a nice sharp edge, unless you want the feather, and then, make it as much feathery as you want to kind of blend them. If we click away here, you can see that you can also just kind of blend them into each other like that if you want. I don't want that, so I'm going to make sure that on my mask, the feather is down to nothing. Okay, and then if you don't like the side that you've selected, so in my case, I selected the wrong side here on purpose, then just click inverted here, and then it'll flip the side that's actually selected. Then the last thing you have to do is just move your clips into place within their segmented selection. So the bottom one's really easy. If you click on the bottom one, you can just go to position and slide it over to wherever you want. Just don't go too far, obviously, because then you'll see this line right there. Here, I'll fit this back in. You'll see this line right there. So the maximum you can go is to like right there, to that edge. I think I like maybe something like that. The top one though, if you try and do the same thing to reposition this in here and you go to position, you're actually going to move the whole thing. Okay, so if you want to do that, that's fine. But if you want to just move this within this mask, then just go over to your effects, type in transform, and under distort, you'll see it right there. Just drag that onto the top clip, the one that we put the mask on. And then now when you go to transform and go to position here, this will actually move it within the mask that we made. Okay, so you can position it exactly where you want. Now, if you want to add a border to either of these, it's simple. You can just go up to graphics, new layer, and then down to rectangle. Stretch this out across the direction that you need. So in this case, horizontal, make it the thickness that you want. If you want to change the color, go over to shape right here in effect controls, drop this down and change the fill. So I'm going to keep mine at yellow, but you just click on this and pick whatever color you want like that. I'm going to undo it, go back to the yellow. Then just rotate this to match the same angle and drag it into place. It doesn't have to be exact because it covers up some of the flaws, but you want to kind of match it like that. And then just slide it into place. So I'm going to slide this over top of my stuff here. And now we have this nice line that creates the border between the top and the bottom. All right, so for method number 2, we're going to create this 3-way diagonal split using an effect called linear wipe over here. And then we're also going to create a transition in, so a kind of a pinch reveal transition that goes from full screen and then pinches in to reveal the 2 clips that are behind it. So the first thing we have to do is drag linear wipe. So in effects, type in linear wipe. You'll see it under video effects transition. Drag that one onto your top clip and then go down to linear wipe right here in effect controls. The first thing we're going to do is drag completion percentage over a bit just so we can see it. And then you're going to adjust your wipe angle to whatever you want. So in this case, I'm going to try 80. So you know what? I'm going to go the other way. So I'm going to go 100. And you're trying to use numbers in relation to 90. So 90 degrees is straight up and down. So 100 is this way a bit, like to the right slanted. And you saw that 80 would have been 10 degrees slanted to the other way. So I'm going to go 100. And then I'm just going to start with 33% right here because I know I'm going in thirds. So I'm going to start with that 33%. Then I'm going to go and drag linear wipe on that same clip right back onto your top clip. And you're going to see it pop in over here. Then we're just going to change our transition completion to be the same as it was up here for now. So 33%. And then for wipe angle, we have to make this wipe angle at 100 and this wipe angle equal 180, but this one we have to put a negative in front of it. So 100 plus 80 is 180, but you'll see that it just will create this like kind of double notch right there. So we have to go back in here and put negative in front of that, and then that will slice it off on the other side over here to make it even. This angle and this angle will be the same. Okay, and then you have to adjust where it's gonna actually happen. So in my case, it looks pretty good right in the middle right here, but you might need to adjust this. Your object, that the main object in your frame might be off a little bit. So you might have to change this transition completion and reveal, like let's say I was trying to reveal to the tail there. You have to reveal it as much as you want there, but just know that this transition completion and this one, if you're gonna go exactly in thirds, this should equal 66%. So if I went to 22 here, I'd have to bump this to 44, and you can see that I'll move it over to be that same like thickness that I had it originally. Then you go back up to the top here in position and move it into place, wherever you want it to start. So in my case, it looked best like right at the very beginning. So I'm gonna put this back to 33 and this one back to 33, and I move my position just back to the middle because I thought that looked good enough. All right, next we're gonna deal with the two clips behind. So for this caterpillar one here, it just looks like I moved this over, so I'm just gonna reset it so it's full screen because yours will probably look like this. We're just gonna drag linear wipe onto that one now, and we're gonna use the same numbers. But remember that this one cropped off on this side was the negative one. So I'm gonna start by just going 50% in here, and I'm gonna make this negative 80. So the same number that you picked on this side to chop off this side. Then I'm gonna drag a linear wipe onto wasp, even though you don't need it. It's now behind everything else. I like to do it anyway. Go to wasp, and I'm going to then type wipe angle. I know my other one on this side was 100 that I had at the start, so chop that one off, and I'm just gonna go to 50% as well. Now, in that case, you can see that it jumped way over here, so you might wanna drop that so it hides behind. If you wanna see what you're doing, you can now hide this eyeball so you can see how they kind of overlap with each other, the two that are back here. Okay, but we don't really care because this one's gonna be, if I bring this back, this one's gonna be covering this middle part anyway. If you see this transition, remember it went from full to just cut in there. So it doesn't really matter where that line is exactly. Okay, so now we just have to line up these two clips. So just click on caterpillar and you can slide it over to kind of line it up where you want. If you go too far, if you're like over here and you're like, oh no, you have this black like line there, then just change your completion percentage here. So you just drop this down to reveal more. So I'm gonna keep mine kind of like that, and I'll move it in place position here, maybe like there. Okay, on this side right here, I'm gonna go to wasp and just kind of move this one over maybe to there. Now, on a side note, you don't have to make these the same angle. So if I went up to red dragonfly up here, the main clip, and I went back to my linear wipes, if I made them the same, like 100 and then negative 100 or negative 80 and 80, you'll see that it'll be like this. It'll make kind of like the both ends here, it'll dissipate up and go up like this on the same kind of angle out, but opposite obviously. So if I went this one to negative 100 and this one was at 100, now we're going like this, kind of like slanted down like pyramid style. Okay, so you don't have to have them the same angle. You can mess with it like that. The only thing, if you do it that way, then I would make sure that your caterpillar, like these, your angles here, that your wipe angle is just 90s here. So it's just straight down the middle so that it matches kind of the fact that this is like symmetrical on both sides here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to red dragonfly, and I'm gonna put this one back to negative 80. So we had it like we had before. Okay, so now to do the transition in, all you have to do is find the spot that you want the transition to be complete. So I'm gonna have it go about right there. And on this layer, so make sure you're on the top layer, click transition completion, like this toggle animation right here for both of them. So for this linear wipe and for this one. And you might want to do it for position as well. Mine was right in the middle. I'm not going to change anything here, but if you had to move yours over, then for sure click position as well. Maybe I will even just move it over just so you can see. So maybe you had to move yours over for some reason, like over there. Okay, so that'll be that. And then you just go to where you want this transition to start. So I'm just going to go back a little bit. I'm going to click a keyframe there, and then a keyframe here, and a keyframe here. One for each of the ones that we already did. And then all you have to do is reset parameters here. This kind of back arrow thing here. So click on reset parameters. You saw that moved it back to the middle. And then for these ones here, same thing. You just reset parameters and reset parameters. So now there's no transition completion, 0%. So it'll be a full screen thing. And then you'll see it'll just pinch in to reveal the 2 clips underneath. Now mine just glitched a little bit just because I have it on full here. So I'll just drop this down so you can see that it pinches in to reveal the 2 clips underneath. Now, if you want to add and animate borders to go along with these splits right here, then just do the same thing. Go up to graphics, down to new layer, and then over to rectangle. This time stretch it out vertical because it's now a vertical angle split. Make them the thickness that you want. Same thing, if you need to change the color, go over here and change it. And then we could go in here and go to 25% and then go to the corner again to rotate it into place and try and line it up. But unlike the mask version, when we used linear wipe, we actually punched in exact degrees for our angles. So it started at 90 degrees and we moved each of these. Well, in my case, I moved them each 10 more degrees. So from 90 to 100 was 10 more. So if I go back to the graphic, like the line, instead of just trying to wiggle it into place, I can now in shape, so make sure you have this drop down, I can actually go down here and see rotation. So right now I'm only at 9.3 degrees. So I want to click in there and change it to 10. So that's the exact same angle that my splits were made for linear wipe. Okay, and then all you have to do is put this into place. I'm going to drag this out. Then I'm going to hold Alt and drag this up to make a copy because I have 2 lines. On one of them, I'm going to click on it, go to position over here, and just click on this first one and drag this one into place right there. Okay, and then you got to find, just like we did anything else, we want to find the end position of this, you know, the transition that we made already. So I'm going to go to red dragonfly, use my go to next keyframe thing here or previous, and find the ending spot right there. Go back to both graphics and just click toggle animation for position for one of the lines and toggle animation for position for the other one. Then go back to red dragonfly, click on previous keyframe to go to where it started, our animation, our transition in, then go back to graphic, set a keyframe right there and move this into place so that it's barely off the screen, like in the corner like that. Okay, so it's just touching. I'll zoom in here. So it's just over the edge right there. Then on the other side here, you can do the same thing, set the keyframe and just move this one so it's barely covering the corner right there on the other side. Now when we watch it, it's gonna pinch in. Oh, and then, sorry, you also then have to find the first keyframe again here and you wanna close these off. You wanna make sure that that's exactly where they're starting. So when you go to this position here, you don't see it in the corner. It's gonna just come in right when it starts, okay? So now when we watch it, it's this full screen. It's gonna pinch in again, but now the lines are gonna move in with it. They're gonna animate with the transition. All right, so to end the video, I'm gonna show you a few other tricks you can do with diagonal splits. So instead of just pinching in, now I have 2 clips actually pushing in from each side that kind of chop this right down in half and introduce 2 new clips. So instead of this clip, these 2 ones come in and cover up that old one. Then I rotate this line. So watch in the middle here, I rotate it around to be the other direction. So I slant that around and then it's going to reveal to a new clip in the middle. Okay, so that means to set this one up, you need 2 clips that are going to push in. So I have one caterpillar one and one wasp one that's going to push from one side. The other one's going to push from the other. You're going to need the original clip that's going to be full screen. So I'm going to start with this one again. And that's only gonna go about halfway. So I cut it off like right there. And then the other half over here, you're gonna need a fourth clip that's gonna be the one that's revealed to in the end, okay? So let's just start with the push in. So on Caterpillar and on Wasp, we're gonna highlight them both and drag linear wipe on both of them. On Caterpillar, which is gonna be my left side, we're gonna go in here and move the transition completion in a little bit just so we can see it. And then you're gonna type in -80 if you're following the same numbers that I've used so far. Okay, and then I'm gonna complete this one to about 50%. So maybe even a little bit more. I'll keep it, or a little bit less. I'll keep it at like 45 or something like that. Then on Wasp, I'm gonna come in and this one's gonna be the one that's 100. Well, actually let's increase this a little bit and then put this to 100. You won't see anything because it's still covered by Caterpillar. So maybe just bump it above for a second so you can see that, or click the eyeball so you can see where that one is. Okay, so it's about right there. That's good. Drop this one down. So they're both kind of overlapping a little bit. So that's good. Then we're going to just slide them in. So maybe Caterpillar is too much in this case. So I probably need to go in here and actually make that 50% for now. So something like that. So now they're fitting both just half and half. And then we just got to slide them in. So this is the spot that I'm going to have them slide into. So find that moment right there. And you just have to go to position this time. So toggle animation for position right there. Go to Wasp and same thing. Then just go back a little bit to where you want the animation to start. Again, just click position. And this time you're going to move this until it's off. So right here, just go barely off right there. Go to Caterpillar, hit the keyframe and do the same thing on this side. So now we're off. So now when we watch that one, they're gonna scissor in, boom, and slice right into the middle and cut that one off. Okay, now to rotate, so we're gonna rotate this line this time. We're gonna find the spot that it hits right together. So right there, so click this, go to next keyframe. So find that exact keyframe. But now we're gonna go down to our wipe angle. So I'm gonna click toggle animation for that one. So this animation is gonna start here. Same thing for Wasp. You're gonna go down to here and click toggle animation for your degrees right here. Then just move forward to where you want that rotation to end. So I'm gonna go to the end of this clip. It's a little bit slow, but whatever. Hit another one right there. Go to Caterpillar and hit another keyframe right there. And then you're just gonna flip-flop. So this one was -80. Now it's going to be -100. And this one was 100. Now it's going to be 80. So you just switch them. So now when we watch that, it's going to pinch in and then that line is going to rotate around. Okay, and in this case, you don't even need to keep this clip going because it's covered up. So I might just trim it a little bit and I might bring this one back just to make sure. And then now we just have to reveal. So at the point that this ends, so we're going to find this keyframe right there. This time we're going to be changing our transition completion. So click toggle animation right there. So that we have a new animation. So we had one for position. When that one ended, we changed to angle animation right here. And now we've stopped that one and we're going to start our transition completion animation to split these open to reveal this new clip. So same thing on Wasp, go there and click toggle animation for transition completion right there. And then we're just gonna go ahead a little bit and click another one, go back to Caterpillar, click another one right there, and we're just going to reveal it as much as we want. So transition completion, I'm gonna mess with this to kind of reveal to, let's just say right there. And then for Wasp, I'm gonna go the other direction and I'm gonna reveal to about there. Okay, so it just split open to kind of be the thirds that we had before. So now when we watch this one, it's going to slide in, slice it, rotate that middle one, and then open up to the new clip there. Now, in this case, I'm not going to go through adding in all the borders. Just know that it would be 2 borders sliding in here. And then as soon as they hit, then you just chop off 1 border and have 1 left of the 2. Then you're going to rotate that border around, and then you're going to add a second border back in right where it starts to split, and then just have 1 border following this line, and one border following this line until they stop right there. All right, so that's all I got for diagonal split screens with borders and animations. If you got something out of this video, make sure to drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you next time.